Iowa was the birthplace of IMCA in 1928, the oldest sanctioning body in the country today for motorsports, still running sprint cars and modified racing in the Midwest, and in the 1950s and 60s, held stock car races like NASCAR and ARCA does to this day.
I don't know about you, but I remember where I was at when the direction of my life was formed, Michigan International Speedway, on August 23, 1974, when I saw Richard Petty's fire red and petty blue Dodge go screaming by. Since then, probably just like you, we've been hooked. From our first media gig at the tender age of 15 in 1983 with Grand National Scene, to printing our own Supercars Today magazine in the 1990s, hence our name. Nothing against our open wheel friends, but if it has fenders, our nosy nature wants to find out the who, the why, and the how. We don't necessarily interview these people, we have conversations. So please subscribe to our channel and hit that bell to be notified of new content every Tuesday at noon. Thanks for watching, and please like, comment on, and share these videos. Today on the program,
Iowa businessman Jack Housby loved motorsports, backing such drivers as Ernie Durr, Ramo Stott, Ron Hutcherson, and others through his Mack truck dealerships. Housby Mack adorned the sides of many race cars, including his son Kevin's in NASCAR, ARCA, IMCA, and USAC. As well, he'd also promote races. In 1989, he helped put together a race through the streets of downtown Des Moines, and sanctioned by the SCCA. But they felt they needed some more draw, as they were having trouble breaking even. They couldn't afford NASCAR. Why not ARCA? In early 1994, Housby and then ARCA president, the late Bob Loga, made the announcement creating the 4th of July Freedom of Screech weekend. It would still feature the SCCA Trans Am Series and the ARCA cars and a Neon Celebrity Challenge Series, among others, with local dignitaries such as then Des Moines Mayor John Dorian and West Des Moines Mayor Dino Radish, who placed a friendly wager of the winner annexing the other city. Also in that race was Crystal Bernard of Wings fame. Almost immediately, concerns started being voiced that ARCA cars couldn't handle street racing, but both Housby and Loga both assured folks it would be a good race. But that didn't stop Trans Am driver Dorsey Schrader, who won the pole for the 1991 ARCA Daytona race, and Jack Baldwin, as well as Ron Fellows, from commenting. "The cars aren't suited to the course by any means," said Schrader. "But I think you won't see much of a race. I don't think you'll see much but yellow flags and course cleanup. I guarantee you there won't be a single wall left that hasn't been completely obliterated by these guys. You can't stop a 2,400-pound Trans Am car with the wheels and tires and brakes that we have, so they have no chance whatsoever in those big 3,500-pound cars." "Go look at the ARCA cars," Baldwin said. "Go walk through the paddock. Those cars aren't designed to do this. Yeah, they do okay on ovals. They do okay on some road courses because they're flowing, but they're not designed to go road racing like this." "I would guess probably 4 or 5 laps tops, and those guys are going to be running out of brakes. So it'll be interesting to see how they cope with it," said Ron Fellows. "You've got a car that weighs 3,500 pounds that doesn't stop very well at the best of times, and now has to stop well 10 times a lap. Those cars do not have enough braking power." But Frank Kimmel spoke from the ARCA side. "I'm sure you're going to see some off-road excursions and things, but as far as just out-and-out crashing, I think you'll be surprised at just how clean everybody's going to be. There'll be a few that probably have never run a road course race, but I've run at Topeka twice and had a lot of fun there and did fairly well. The biggest problems, though, seem to be with the track itself. It's rough," said Scott Pruitt. "At this level, other drivers can give you subtleties, but you really need to go out and experience the track for yourself." Crews repaved a patch of track 2/3 of the way between the 9th and 10th turns on 2nd Avenue straightaway. Spokesman Garrett Mudd said, "It was just normal wear and tear, nothing serious. Normal track maintenance for a road course includes that kind of repair." The course layout parameters would feature a 90-degree corner onto 5th in turns 1 and 2 at 1,027 feet. Turn 5 would feature a 115-degree turn onto 3rd, then to Locust towards City Hall at turns 5 and 6 at 307 feet, the shortest on the course. And then turn 9 would feature a 105-degree turn up 2nd Avenue, and turns 9 and 10 at 1,638 feet, the longest on the course. Hosby had said in numerous interviews that he thought that at least 4 or 5 Cup drivers would come and run, and there were rumors that Dale Sr. and Darrell Waltrip would compete. However, only Jimmy Spencer and Darrell's brother Michael agreed. Spence would drive a number 2 McDonald's-sponsored car out of the Jim Spicuzza stables, teammate to Bob Strait, and Mikey would be in Glenn Brewer's number 30, and both would fly in following the Daytona Cup race. Waltrip said, "I never ran through the streets legally before." How about this for a stroke of great fortune that no amount of money could buy? Spencer went out and won that Daytona Cup race, his first ever. Despite some of the negative press, an atmosphere was being created, what with concerts, displays, great food, and fireworks all being planned. And when it was over, there'd be a parade on the 4th. And tickets could be got at the local McDonald's, local Dodge, Chrysler, and Plymouth dealerships, and by returning Coke bottle caps. Yes, there were festivities planned for everyone of all ages. Except Mother Nature wasn't exactly cooperating, and ARCA qualifying was washed out, even flooding some parts of the paddock. They did get practice in, but would start on points, putting leader Bobby Bowser and second place Frank Kimmel on the pole. The city of Des Moines, Iowa, was greeted by sunshine on Sunday, July 3rd, 1994.
But
the race was delayed briefly by a shower, but at 5:04 p.m. Central Standard Time, the green flag waved and Bobby Bowser jumped into the lead. Almost immediately, Bill Venturini broke a camshaft coming through turn 8, stopping in the groove and forcing a full course caution. Ken Rowley and Todd Kuhn also were out of power, stopped along the course. They all received a push back to the pits via tow trucks and all got service from their crews. Rowley and Kuhn drove on, but Venturini was out. Phil Barkdahl, in a backup car for the Venturini team, pitted and got out, allowing Bill to get in and drive on without losing a lap. Bob Strait beat Bowser back to the line, and when the race went back green on lap 4 at 5:20, Scott Lagasse got around Bowser as well. Number 40 Michael Benjamin spun in turn 2, but continued on as David Frogman Hall hit the tire barrier in turn 10, stopping in a dangerous position on the track on lap 20. Again, the full course caution was shown the field as Lagasse led. Hall was pushed back to his pit and received repairs and continued. All of the leaders pitted for tires and gas, hoping to go the rest of the way, except for Bradbury, Eric Smith, and Chuck Hemmingson. Bradbury took the lead on that caution, and by lap 25, Smith was looking to grab that top spot, and did it in turn 8, as Bob Hill did not brake in time, and went into the runoff in turn 2 at 6:05. Bradbury pitted on lap 36. Keselowski then went by Lagasse and began to gain on Smith. He then took the lead on that circuit in turn 2 and got away, leaving Smith to fight with Lagasse, who then cleared Smith for second in turn 5. Lagasse shot past Keselowski on lap 44 as Smith pitted for right side tires and took on gas. Keselowski pitted as well on lap 48, but the crew did not service the car. Instead, they surveyed Keselowski trying to put them out in gear, which it would not do, forcing them out of the race. Roger Blackstock went into the tires in turn 7 at City Hall on lap 49, bringing out another full course caution, which allowed all of the leaders to pit again for full service. Blackstock pitted as well, and his crew, with a sledgehammer in hand, put that car back in race shape and sent him back out. As Bowser left his pit stall, Rear tire changer Jack Bones Bowser Jr., Bobby's older brother, slipped in some fluid trying to retrieve lug nuts before Kimmel pitted next to them. He laid on pit road for a second before those nearby realized he was injured. Apparently, Bones twisted his left knee and was helped to the pit wall where he remained outstretched. He was then taken by ambulance to the local hospital and treated. Bowser, however, gained the lead on that stop, but Smith and Legacy put the pressure on him as Bob Straight, making his way to the front, went off the course in turn 9, his rear end having failed. As Steve Knipe pulled into the turn 6 runoff, Smith went around Legacy as course workers waved yellow flags alerting drivers of trouble at that spot on the track. However, Legacy, fueled by the fact that Smith passed in what he felt was a yellow flag condition, got back around Smith in turn 9 on lap 59. On lap 62, Perry Tripp lost the motor in his car after the turn 9 straight, forcing another full course caution to remove it. Smith's crew grabbed their pit equipment, trying to force Legacy's team to the Veterans Auditorium parking lot, which served as pit road. The Roller Brothers team did not take the bait, and they both stayed out. At the green flag, on lap 67, Legacy's number 39 put 4 car lengths between he and the number 9 of Smith, who was now radioing that he might have a loose right rear wheel. Kimmel was working on Bradbury for 4th and got the spot in turn 6, then went after Bowser. Both put up a fight, and Kimmel tried passing in turn 9 on lap 72, but lost control in some oil and slid into the runoff. He recovered and drove on. Then, as Smith headed toward turn 4, the wheel and tire came completely off, lifting the rear of the car from the ground, getting it airborne momentarily. It then spun around and ended up against the tires at 4th Street, as the rest of the leaders went streaking by. Spencer, having to pit and cool his brakes with water, played catch-up and passed Bradbury and caught Kimmel. On the next to last lap, Bowser suffered a flat right front tire, going down completely in turn 4. Kimmel went around Bowser this time, as did Spencer. Bowser was showering the track with sparks, but finished 4th. Kimmel and Spencer fought it to the finish line, with Kimmel beating the NASCAR star by 4 car lengths, as Legacy drove to the victory podium for his first and only supercar triumph. "We had a really good strategy. It obviously worked," stated the then 37-year-old. "We didn't worry about position until the last 20 laps. My experience with the course helped me because I already knew how to react, so we could go out and work on the chassis. After our last practice, we were running just awesome." After the race, Eric Smith said, "I was just driving as hard as I could every lap, but saved my brakes and used my transmission to slow the car. Then the right rear wheel came off and it lifted the car up and around I went." His dad, Cleve Smith, the jackman, said he watched his tire changer tighten all 5 lugs, so it must have been a break in the wheel. Said Kimmel, "Our game plan was to go out and run, stay consistent, and protect our car. It took me a little bit to get comfortable knowing which turn was coming. We had good, strong racing today. It was very clean with nothing intentional." "The problem is I had no front brakes for the last half of the race," said Spencer. "That makes it tough to catch the leaders. Overall, this has to be the greatest weekend of racing I've ever had. Well, no kidding." Keselowski, an early race leader, said his job was to watch the brakes. "But it was the transmission that gave out. I thought we had our stuff together right, and the car ran good. I wasn't abusing the tires or the motor or anything, and something inside the transmission broke, and that was it." Michael Waltrip was running in the top 10, but lost an oil pump with 9 laps to go, and unfortunately had to stop the car on the course. Saturday night, flooding took down the 1993 event, canceling all activity. That year was supposed to be the final event on the downtown streets of Des Moines, but sponsor Ruan said we can't go out like this, and they planned a 1994 event, as well as trying to bring in the stock car and sprint car fans with the ARCA cars. But 1994's inclement weather certainly didn't help. An estimated 30,000 people showed up each day, but it wasn't enough to save the events, and 1994 was the final time on the Des Moines streets. Dorsey Schrader missed most of his predictions about Armageddon happening during the ARCA event. He won his SCCA Trans Am race, but with one lead change among 22 cars, while the ARCA event had 10 among 36 cars. Racing Reference listed 38 as having showed up, but Tom Bigelow and Steve Kosiski weren't there. And only Smith didn't finish because of contact with the wall. But stock car racing lives on in Iowa because of the Iowa Speedway in Newton, a 7/8 mile paved oval. Housby was involved in the Iowa Speedway construction as well, but one of the greatest friends that stock car racing, motorsports ever had, passed away on September 15th, 2015. Housby, though mostly unknown except to the diehard race fan, left a huge void. He served on NASCAR's National Appeal Panel and was on the board of directors and past president of the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame Foundation and Museum. But one thing motorsports lost most was all of those years of passion for racing. NASCAR will run in the streets of downtown Chicago this weekend, almost 29 years to the day as ARCA did it, that one year in 1994. There were mixed emotions concerning the event, with opinions ranging everywhere from ridiculous to had a great time. But one thing is for certain. Amongst stock car circuits, ARCA took the chance, weathered the storms, faced the criticisms, and completed the event on a street course first.